Water is the essence of life. Every living being on Earth depends on it. But what if one day we woke up and there was no more water left? What if the rivers ran dry, the lakes vanished, and the oceans receded into dust? The first and most immediate impact would be on humanity. Within days, major cities around the world would descend into chaos. Water is not just a thirst quencher, it's the backbone of modern civilization. We use it for drinking, agriculture, industry, and sanitation. Without it, the global food supply would collapse. Crops need water to grow, livestock needs water to survive, and factories use water in almost every production process. The world's economy would shatter. Prices for remaining water sources would skyrocket, turning water into the most valuable commodity on Earth. Only the wealthiest would have access to the dwindling supplies, leaving billions to fend for themselves. People would be forced to abandon cities, seeking out any remaining water sources in the most desperate and remote locations. Conflict would be inevitable. Countries would wage wars not over oil or land but over water. Imagine a future where nations like the US and China or India and Pakistan are battling for control of rivers and underground aquifers. Border disputes would be the least of our concerns, as water scarcity fuels international tensions, leading to an unprecedented number of global conflicts. Even within countries, we would see violent confrontations between communities, each one desperate for access to clean drinking water. Governments, overwhelmed by the scale of the crisis, would struggle to maintain order. Law enforcement would collapse and survival would become the only priority. Then, of course, there's the devastating impact on the environment. Freshwater ecosystems would be the first to disappear. Rivers, lakes, and wetlands would dry up, killing off countless species that depend on these habitats. Fish, amphibians, and even land animals like deer or elephants would face extinction. Forests would wither away as trees, unable to absorb water through their roots, would die in massive numbers. Deserts would expand, turning vast portions of Earth into barren wastelands. But it doesn't end there. The loss of water would disrupt the climate in ways we can't fully predict. The water cycle is a key component of Earth's climate system. Without water to evaporate and form clouds, there would be fewer rains, making the planet hotter and drier. Some areas could experience scorching temperatures that would make them uninhabitable, forcing mass migrations to cooler regions, further fueling global conflicts and humanitarian crises. Agriculture would grind to a halt. Crops like wheat, rice, and corn that sustain billions of people would wither in the fields. Without irrigation, farmers would be helpless and the world's food supply would collapse. Famine would spread rapidly, affecting every corner of the globe. Supermarkets would run out of stock within days. The shelves would be empty, and food prices would reach levels never before imagined. In desperation, humans would resort to extreme measures. Some might attempt to desalinate ocean water to make it drinkable, but this process is energy-intensive and would only provide a fraction of the water needed. Others might try to recycle wastewater on a large scale, but this too is a temporary solution with limited success. Many would be left with no choice but to drink contaminated or unsafe water, leading to widespread outbreaks of waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery. Meanwhile, technological advancements might help in some ways, but they wouldn't be enough to save everyone. Scientists could work on creating synthetic water or more efficient desalination methods, but developing and scaling these technologies would take years, time we wouldn't have. So, what would the long-term future look like if the world ran out of water? The answer is bleak. Entire civilizations would collapse, and humanity would be reduced to small, nomadic groups constantly searching for what little water remains. Cities would be abandoned, left to decay as nature reclaims what's left of them. Countries would fragment, with governments falling and society reverting to a pre-industrial state. The question remains, could humanity survive? Possibly, but only in drastically reduced numbers. Our population would shrink from billions to millions, with only the most resilient communities managing to endure in water-scarce regions. And even they would face a harsh, unforgiving future. But perhaps the most important question is this: how do we prevent such a catastrophic event? Water scarcity is already a growing concern, with millions around the world facing shortages due to climate change, overuse, and pollution. We must act now to preserve our water resources before it's too late. Conservation, sustainable management, and innovation are key to ensuring that future generations never have to face a world without water. So, what would you do if water became the rarest resource on Earth? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking what-if scenarios. Thank you for watching and remember, water is life. Let's protect it.